Hello there. Welcome to Cost and Management Accounting N6. We are still working on a past exam paper. We've got a question paper here still on June uh, 2023. So this is our question 4. Today we want to look at question 4, and this question is on standard costing. So I'm going to read three what is there, and then we answer questions that follow. Right. If you go at the beginning of the question there, the question reads, Amajuba Factory made reusable face masks for all the local schools in their area. They provided you with the following information. We've got standard information that we are given. Then to make one face mask, the following was needed. We are told that the first point is saying 0.25 meters of cotton fabric at a standard cost of 55 rands per meter. Then a second point, 15 minutes of labor at 80 rand per hour. Then we are given actual information. So basically take note of the section for standard information and for actual. So here now we are on actual. Actual is reading at the end of the period, 10,000 meters of cotton fabric was purchased at a total price of 600,000. 30,000 face masks were made using 8,000 meters of fabric. Then 8,500 labor hours were clocked at a total cost of 697,000 rands. Then we've got a fixed cost, 10,000 rands, and a variable overheads that is 26,500. Then if you go down, we now have some information that is there. We have got also budgeted information was as follows: fixed overheads 28,000, variable overheads 20,000, and then we've got labor hours, which is 7,000. Then on the required part, calculate the following variances and state whether each variance is a favorable or unfavorable. So we are going to start with the price of material. We are going to start with price of material. So what we are going to do there, we are going to first of all put the formula. So this is 4.1, the formula for price material. So if you go to 4.1, we start with 4.1. So on 4.1, the formula that we want to use, so this is 4.1, and the formula for calculating price material. So 4.1 is on price material. So the formula that we use to calculate our price material is standard price minus actual price. And this will be in brackets. Then we multiply by actual quantity here. So this is our actual quantity. Then our standard price, we go there on the standard section. Remember, this is the standard section. Our standard price is given here is 55. So this is our standard price, which is 55. So we are going to put 55 here. And then if you go to our actual price now, the actual information is here. And we are told that here at the end of the period, 10,000 meters of cotton fabric was purchased at a total price of 600,000. So it means our actual price is going to be 600,000 divided by 10,000 meters. So remember, we're not given the actual price there. So what we are going to do there for actual price, if we subtract here, we are going to say we have 600,000 that we have there. Then we divide by 10,000. Then obviously here we also have some brackets here. And then the answer that we get now, we are going to calculate by the actual quantity. So if you check there, the actual quantity is this one that we are given is 10,000. So we multiply by 10,000 over 1. Right. So here, if you simplify this in brackets, here we are going to have 55. Then we subtract, we say 10,000 into 600,000. You are going to get 60 there. So here we have 60. So that's in brackets. Then we multiply by 10,000. Because obviously 1 into 10,000, you're going to get 10,000. Then here, obviously, you are going to get a negative 5. If you say 55 minus 60, you get what? A negative 5. Then a negative 5 multiplied by 10,000. Then obviously the answer that you are going to get there is going to be a negative 50,000. So this negative represents that it's unfavorable. remember, if you go back to our question, the question is telling us that state whether each variance is favorable or unfavorable. So on our answer now, we are going to say 50,000 is unfavorable. So the answer is we have got 50,000 runs, which is unfavorable. Unfavorable. So that is what we have on the first section. Then obviously we are going to go to the second one, the second section there. And then the second part of the question is 4.2, saying quantity material. So on 4.2, we are also going to start with the quantity material, and we start with the formula. This is quantity material. So the formula that we have there on the quantity of material, we have it's equal to standard quantity. Then we subtract actual quantity. Then in brackets, then we multiply the standard price. Right. So this is the formula that we have in terms of our quantity material. So our standard quantity, remember, our standard quantity, we can go back to the section of standard there. That's where we are going to get that figure for standard quantity. So here, if you come here for standard, we go on top. That's where we have got standard. Standard is here. So on standard, we are told that 0.25. We are told that 0.25 meters of cotton fabric at a standard cost of 55 rands per meter. But remember, on top of that, it's written to make one face mask. Following was needed. So it means that to make one face mask, it requires us 0.25 meters. So we need to know how many face masks were made, so that we can find the total meters that we have. So because here we're just given a 0.25 meters per one face mask. So if you come here on actual, you are going to see that there are 30,000 face masks that were made, and each face mask requiring 0.25 as a standard requirement there. So to get the standard quantity, you are going to say 0.25 times 30,000. So that's what we are going to do there. And then obviously we are saying minus actual quantity. So on actual quantity now, remember we are here on actual is here. Actual quantity is here is 8,000. So actual quantity is given is 8,000. So we are just going to multiply this space. Then we subtract the actual quantity, which is 8,000. So we can go back there and try to calculate that one. That is on 4.2. So if you go on 4.2 there, we are going to summarize the working. Our standard quantity, we said we are going to say 0.25. Then we multiply by the number of masks that are there, 10,000. And then this is our standard. So this represents our standard quantity. Then we subtract the actual quantity. And actual quantity we're given there is 8,000. We're given there is 8,000. And then after that, now the answer that we are going to get there, that's now we are going to multiply by standard price. We are going to multiply by standard price. So if you go back, we want to check the standard price there. We go to the standard section again to check the standard price. Here the standard price that we have. Remember, that's the section for standard. So you are seeing that the standard cost is 55. We are given it as 55 rands per meter. So this is going to be our standard. So we multiply by 55. So we come back there to see what we can do there. Right. If you go down, we are going to have that figure. We are going to put that figure for standard, which is 55. So here we multiply by 55. We are going to say times 55. So if you calculate that, you calculate this in brackets, 0.25 times 8 times 30,000, you are going to get 7,500 here. Then you subtract 8,000. This is in brackets, and obviously you multiply by the 55. Then if you do that correctly, you're going to get 27,500. Remember, this one, 7,500 minus 8,000, you're going to get a negative there, is negative 500. Then you multiply by 55, then you get a negative 27,500. Negative 27,500, of course, this is in rands. And then this one is a negative again. And remember, our question requires us to indicate whether it's favorable or unfavorable. So it means since we are getting a negative there, it means it's unfavorable. So it's equal to 27,500 unfavorable. Unfavorable. So that is what we have here on 4.2. Then we go to the next question. If you move to the next question is saying you are now on 4.3, and 4.3 is saying labor rate, the labor rate. So we start by by putting the formula, the labor rate. This is now 4.3. And the formula for labor rate is standard rate minus actual rate in brackets. Then we multiply by actual time. Then we multiply by actual time. So our standard rate, we are going to find it again in the section there that we have for standard. So we go at the beginning of the question. That's where we are going to get our standard rate. So if you come here, you'd see that our standard rate is given here because there is 15 minutes of labor at 80 rand per hour. So this is our rate, 80. So this is going to be our standard rate. Then our actual rate, we get it here under actual information. If you come here on third point saying 8,500 labor hours were clocked at a total cost of 697,000. So we've got 8,500 hours at the total cost being 697,000. So to get the rate per hour, we are going to divide 697,000 divided by 8,500. So that's what we are going to do there. And then obviously we also have our actual time, and our actual time is represented by this one, 8,500. Because this is under actual, and this is total hours that we have. So this represents our actual time. So basically, that's what we are going to do there, and then we summarize the working that we've been explaining there. So we are on 4.3. So if you come here now, we are just substituting the figures that we were explaining there. Standard rate is 80. Then for our actual rate, I remember we said 697,000. Then we divide by the number of hours, which is 8,500. So if you do that, obviously, and then we multiply by the actual time, and remember we said the actual time is 8,500. This one is representing our actual time. So basically, if you simplify this one, 697,000 divided by 8,500, we are going to get 82. So here is basically 80 minus 82. Then we multiply by 8,500. And then there, if you calculate that one, you are going to get again a negative. Remember here, 80 minus 82 is a negative 2. Then you multiply by 8,500. You are going to get a negative 17,000. So here is negative 17,000 rands. And then to simplify it then further, remember the question needs us to indicate favorable and unfavorable, and we are seeing that this is a negative figure. So we are going to have 17,000 as an unfavorable. 17,000 rands unfavorable. So that's what we have on 4.3. So the next that we have is 4.4. So let's try to see what we have on 4.4. If you come here in the question, our 4.4 is labor efficiency. Labor efficiency. So obviously, we are going to start with the formula for labor efficiency. If you come here, this is 4.4, and we have labor efficiency. We have labor efficiency, and then the formula now for labor efficiency, we are going to say standard time, and we subtract actual time, and then we multiply by standard rates. So this is what we have. So we are going to try to find out what we have on standard time. Then we find what we have on actual time. So if you go to the question, you start by where we have on the standard section. To find out those figures, we go to standard section. So on the standard section here, we are seeing that the standard time, remember, we are saying the standard time, which is we have got the standard time. If you look at the standard time, we are saying 15 minutes of labor. It's 80 rands per hour. So we have got 15 minutes that we have there. 15 minutes that we have there, and then we try to see how we can find that that figure there. So for our standard rate, so what it means is our standard rate is here is 80 rand per hour. That's our standard rate we are given. Then also you'd see that our actual time we are also given. If you go to the actual section, actual time is 8,500. So we have actual time, we have got standard rate. So the one that we don't have now is the standard time. So for standard time now, we are told that we remember this information that we have below the year is for one face mask. So it means for to finish one face mask, we need 15 minutes. So we would want to see now as a proportion of an hour, what do we have in terms of 15 minutes. So we are going to say, if we say 15, remember in hours, we have got 60 minutes. We have got 60 minutes. So if you say here, maybe if you reduce it, if you say 60 into 15, you are going to get 0.25. So we have got 0.25 as a per face mask, and then the number of face masks that were made are 30,000. So to find the standard time, now we are going to say 0.25 times 30,000 face masks. So remember, one face mask requires us to spend 0.25 of an hour. So for 30 face masks, we are just going to say 0.25 times 30,000 to get to the standard time. So that's what we are just going to summarize there. So if you go, let's try to remove this. If you go down there, we just summarize that working. You go down. Right, we are on 4.4. So our standard time, remember we said it's now 0.25, then we multiply by 30,000. Then brackets, we subtract the actual time. Remember the actual time we are given there is 80,000. We are going to put this also in brackets. And then here we multiply by the standard rate. We are also given it as 80. So in this way, if you simplify it further, you are going to get 7,500 here, 0.25 times 10,000, you get 7,500. Then you subtract by 8,500 in brackets here, then you multiply by 8. So if you say 7,500 minus 8,500, you are going to get 1,000. So it's a negative 1,000. So here you're going to get a negative figure again. A negative 1,000 times 80, you get negative 80,000. So obviously, again, our question is asking us to indicate whether it's favorable or unfavorable, and we are seeing that it's a negative answer that we got there. So obviously, it's going to be unfavorable. So we come here now and say 80,000, and it's also unfavorable. Right. So we go to the last part of the question. The last part of the question is asking us to calculate the labor efficiency. So you can as well come here and try to calculate labor efficiency. This is now 4.5 labor efficiency. On 4.5, we've got labor efficiency. Right, on labor efficiency again, we need to put down the formula first. The formula for labor efficiency now. We go to labor efficiency. Labor efficiency is now 4.5 is the one that we have calculated there. Labor efficiency is the one that we have calculated there, so we are not going to repeat that one. We go to the next question. We try to go to the next question and see what we have. Right. If you go up there, we try to find out what we have next in terms of the next question. This is 4.4, so we are going to the next page to see what we have there. We are now on 4.5. So 4.5 is asking us to calculate variable over its rate variance. We've got variable over its rate variance, and obviously we are going to start with the formula there. For the variable over its rate variance, we are going to use the formula standard rate minus actual rate, and then we multiply by actual time. So we can use that one, and then we go back to the question, try to find out what we have in terms of the variable overheads in terms of the standard rates, and then the actual rates, and then we also have actual time. So if you come here, go to the table that we have there, the information that we are given, right? You've got standard information, actual information, and also we have got budgeted information. So the figure that we are looking for is standard rate. And then if you come to standard rates, you are going to see that we have 20,000. Standard rate, we are going to get it under budgeted information. We have got variable overheads of 20,000, and also we have got labor hours of 7,000. So to get our standard rate, we are going to say variable overheads divided by our labor hours. 20,000 divided by 7,000. Then for our actual rates, we come on the actual section. We are seeing that our variable overheads that we have under the actual information is 26,500. And this 26,500 and the number of hours that are there, the actual hours is 8,500. So to get the actual rate, now we are going to say 26,500 divided by 8,500. So this is what we are going to summarize. And obviously, we also have the actual time. And actual time, we know that it's 8,500. So we're going to multiply again by 8,500. So we go back there and try to summarize that. If we come here now on our standard rate, remember on our standard rate, we said we are going to say 20,000. We divide by 7,000. And then we are going to subtract the actual rate. And the actual rate is 26,500 that we are given under actual information. And then calculate by the actual number of hours, which is 8,500. So that is what we are going to do here. And then obviously, here, the answer that we are going to get, we are going to multiply it by the actual time, which is 8,500. So let's try to see as we simplify that one. Let's try to divide 20,000 by 7,000. Divide 20,000 divided by 7,000. right? We are going to get 2.85, 2.85. If you divide that one, you get 2.85, 2.8571, and then we get 7142857. But we are supposed to round off to the nearest two decimal places. So the two decimal places here, so we round off. This one is 7, it's about 5. So it's going to change. This one becomes 6, so it becomes 2.86. So it means here you've got 2.86. Then you subtract, then you are saying 26,500, 26,500, and then we divide by 8,500. Then obviously what you're going to get there is 3.1. Here you're going to get 3.1, 3.11, here 3.1176. So what is important are two decimal places. So we are here. So we have got 7 here, about 5 again. So we change 1 to 2. So it becomes 3.12. So here we've got 3.12. So this is what we are going to do here. Then we multiply by 8,500. So if you calculate that one, you are supposed to get 2. Again, here 2.86 is less than 3.12. So you're going to get a negative figure again. So here a negative, we are going to get a negative 2,210. And obviously, the question requires us to present it as favorable or unfavorable. It's a negative, so it's going to be unfavorable. 2,210 unfavorable. So that is what we have on 4.5. Then the next one that we want to look at is 4.6. 4.6. So we are here now on 4.6. So we can try to see what we have on 4.6. 4.6 is saying fixed overheads volume. Fixed overheads volume. So we are now on fixed overheads volume. So we try again to put the formula down in terms of fixed overheads volume. So here now is 4.6. We've got 4.6 is saying fixed overheads volume. So the formula there is you're going to say standard time minus budgeted time in brackets. Then we multiply by standard rate. Right, so that's what we have. So instead of in terms of standard time, we've already calculated the standard time. There we go back to the information that we have there. The standard time is the one that we said 0.25, and then we multiplied by 30,000, and then we got 7,500. That's our standard time. Then we go to budgeted time. Budgeted time, we find it here. It's here under budgeted labor hours 7,000. That's our budgeted time. Then for our standard rate now, we are going to use the information on budgeted information to get our standard rate. We are going to say 28,000 for total fixed overheads that we have. Then we divide by number of hours that are there, which is 7,000. So that's what we are going to do. So we are just going to summarize that working again under section. So our standard time, remember, we say we repeated what we did earlier. That's just 0.25. Then we multiplied by 30,000. Then obviously in brackets. Then we subtract our budgeted time, and we say it's 7,000 given under budgeted, and then obviously these are in brackets, and then we multiply by standard rate. In standard rate, we are saying we are using information that we are giving in the budgeted section. 28,000 divided by 7,000. So if you simplify it here, 0.25 times 30,000, obviously we got 7,500 here. Then we subtract 7,000. Then the rate now, if you say 28,000 divided by 7,000, 7 into 28 is 4. So we multiply by 4. So obviously here again we've got 7,500, which is greater now. 7,500 here is greater than 7,000. So you're going to get a positive 500 there, then you multiply by 4, then you get 2,000. So a year is going to be 2,000, and this one is favorable. So this is the last question that we have. So that is what we have, guys. Stay tuned for more videos as we prepare for exams. Those who haven't subscribed, please subscribe and share. We meet next time in the next video. With that, I'm out.